Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My track guide for the FIA F4 going around Magny-Cours. We are in the fixed setup with a brake bias of 56%. Let's get into it. Here on the start finish straight we can actually use all of the room out here, and we should do it just because turn 1 is flat out and we want to scrub up as little speed as possible. Cut all of the curb for turn 1 and get in over all of the curb of turn 2. Once I leave the curb of turn 2 I lift off the throttle and I start to brake. A little hit to about 20% and then keeping a little bit of pressure all the way to the end of the pit exit. I also shift down to 4th. We want to be smooth because it's really easy to upset the car here, and that will scrub off a lot of speed. Once I'm at the pit exit, we want to start to apply the throttle again, turning in and getting as close as we can to the inside little green curb while being flat out. We need to be very smooth with the inputs to make sure we don't scrub off too much speed. And now it's a drag race all the way down to turn 5. So in the race people might try and overtake you into turn 5 as we are going for such a long time, and draft will certainly play a factor here. For turn 5 we want to be on the left side of the track. My braking marker is the white line here on the left. It's the one straight out from the 100 board. Just before I get to that I go to about 90% brake pressure, and we're easing that off all the way to the inside curb. I locked up the front right tire in this one, making me miss the corner just a tiny bit. But once we get to the outside curb we want to lean a little bit on that, just make sure don't hit the grass. And then we want to turn in so we get as close as we can to the inside curb. Once at the curb we want to start to apply the throttle again. We have a lot of curb on the outside we can use as well, but be aware there's a little bump at the end of it that can unsettle the car just a little bit. Now we want to take the shortest route possible all the way down to turn 8. We want to use all of the outside curb of turn 8 because that makes it a lot easier to take turn 8 flat out. Just make sure you don't hit the big anti-cut on the inside and be as smooth as you can throughout the corner. Now go over to the right side of the track. For turn 9 my braking marker is losing the tire wall here on the left. When I start to brake I go to about 70% brake pressure, and I'm trying to take quite a wide line throughout turn 9, getting the car turned so we can get back on the throttle again. The car can be really unstable with the rear with this, and it's easy to lose a bit of time. Just about mid corner we want to pick up the throttle again. Because the car is so unstable we want to ease in the throttle, making sure we don't spin around. Don't hit the inside curb, it will unsettle the car, and we can use the outside curb even though there is a bump here, just make sure to stay on the bump. Now again it's the shortest route possible all the way up to turn 12, ending up on the left side of the track to open up the corner. We don't have to brake for turn 12. Once I get to this white line here on the left, then I ease off the throttle to just about 20%. Then we turn in to cut all of the curb on the inside. Then aiming for turn 13's inside curb, cutting a lot of that as well. Making sure we end up just about mid-track so we can get over to the left side of the track for turn 14. Just don't cut too much of turn 13, it will give you a slowdown. My braking marker for turn 14 is the little bump in the curb here. Once I get to that I go to about 70% brake pressure, trailing that off all the way to the inside curb. Once I get to that curb I'll start to apply the throttle again, and we are easing in the throttle here once again, because it's really easy to spin the car around here. Just make sure you don't go too far out on the outside curb. Just make sure you have one set of wheels within the white line. Turn 15 is a place where people will try and overtake you, as that is the last corner we will brake for on the track. But when qualifying we want to be on the left side. I brake halfway between these two white lines. When I start to brake I aim for about 90% brake pressure, and we are easing that off all the way to the inside curb. Once at the curb we want to pick up the throttle again. We can carry more speed than we think because there's a lot of room on the outside we can use, so we want to go all the way out on the outside curb. We do that to open up turn 16 a bit more. We don't brake for 16 at all we do is lift off a little bit, and we want to make a straight line through turn 16 and 17, cutting a bit of curb on both of them. Don't take too much as that will unsettle the car and you will spin out. And that's my lap around Magny-Cours in the FIA F4 of a time of 1 minute 38.7. I have more track guides for the F4 linked down below. Hopefully you found this one useful. If you did, leave a like down below, consider subscribing as well. And now for the uninterrupted hot laps.